Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you today. I am doing a live with Jan, who is the founder and CEO of the amazing Leaf app, which supports so many people on their fertility journey in so many ways. And Jan is going to be sharing his story about 12 cycles of IVF. To have their child, and sharing the emotional turmoil that came with it, kind of what happened at each point in their journey, why they've created this support app and how it can benefit you. So get your questions ready. He's been through a lot, and we're so grateful to have these shared stories so that people can relate to it, as I'm sure you will, and know that you're not alone in these feelings. If you do have any questions about the app as well, then please do ask. He's happy to answer them all. I'm going to see if he's here now. And we've also got that you can download it for free, give it a try and see what it's all about as we're talking. So I'm just welcoming Jan in now and we'll start talking. Where's everyone joining from today? Nice to see you. Let us know. We're just waiting for the founder and CEO of Leaf app to join, and then we can get going. Might be having a few technical issues. Bear with us. Should work in a moment. Canada. Hi to Canada. Afternoon. Hi. Good to see you. We're just about to welcome Jan from Leaf into our live so we can talk about his personal journey. Here we go. I think we're here. Hello. Oh, you're to the side. Oh, you're upside down. Okay, twist it again. And you've gone. Can you guys hear me? You're back.
Yes, I'm back. Can you
Hi,
see
Jan.
me?
How are you?
I'm fine, perfect. How are you?
Yes, very well, thank you. I've given you a brief introduction. Please do introduce yourself and the wonderful Leaf app. And then we're so grateful for you coming on today and sharing your story, because I know it's been quite the journey for you and your wife, and also telling us all about how Leaf can support people and how people can try it for free and see what it's all about. So please do start by telling us more about your personal journey. What happened in the build up to starting to try to conceive?
Well, okay, so my name is Jan, and the whole story started when I started to date my wife. When I was 27 and she was 22, and I didn't want to have kids at that time because I was working as a consultant. She wanted to have kids, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. Then I moved to Prague. She moved after about a couple of years to join me. And then we had a quite nice life. We got married, and just a normal, mid-class couple. We wanted to pursue our careers, having good lives. So that was the time until we decided let's try for a baby. And what happened? We found out that it is not going to be that easy, right? The first diagnosis was on my side, mm-hmm. with a spermogram. However, I found out that with a male, it is quite not easy, but this is a thing that can be improved, right? Okay. Through nutrition, through better sleeping. So my spermogram improved after about 3 or 4 weeks.
And where did you go to get that diagnosis and to check your sperm?
Good. So of course the first discussion was with my wife's gynecologist, mm-hmm. and it was in his lab where we got the diagnosis.
Okay.
Right. And then he sent us to a clinic.
And sorry, just talking about the emotions that came with getting that diagnosis, did you go into it thinking that everything would be fine? Were you surprised when you found out that the sperm wasn't what they wanted it to be at that stage?
Well, listen, that was not a pleasant experience for me personally, because I didn't think that would be the case on my side.
Yeah.
Also, the way it was communicated to me was not really something I would expect.
Okay, and in what way was that the case? Because I had a similar experience with my husband's diagnosis as well.
Well, it was, there was no emotion, no empathy, and it was very straightforward, which I appreciate, but I would expect to let something like that know in a more empathetic way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like, you know, the I would say the death sentence, right? To me. Yeah. So that was my feeling. Yeah, that was my feeling.
I would be really interested for people who are watching and listening to know about your experiences with any diagnosis. Have you had, you know, what kind of delivery have you received? Because it's such a big thing to hear, isn't it? So I don't think, Jan, that you're alone in those feelings or experiences. Anyway, I'm sorry. Please carry on with what happened next.
Well, then we went to see the clinic, which was recommended to us, and the consultation was very well done. That was very empathetic. It was a big clinic, a professional one with a very good reputation. So we went. My wife went through the blood tests, and then we came for the first consultation. No, she went actually for the first treatment, and so she was injecting, you know, those hormones, and then
Was this IVF? Did you go straight into IVF?
it was IVF. It was
Okay.
yes, and then we went for the ovary pickup, and I couldn't go with her for the next consultation, so she called me crying in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me that I have old eggs and we need to go for donated egg. And
Sorry, they told her what?
that her eggs are old.
Oh, right, old.
Yeah. And
how old was she at this stage?
she was 39.
Right, okay.
Yeah, which is really an advanced age, I would say, right? And she also added that the way it was delivered to her was not polite, but again, not very empathetic. And you know why my wife, she's quite tough. She cries every 5 years or so.
Really?
So I said, okay, I'm gonna go there with you and let's discuss with the clinician. Then she added also that there was a different clinician talking to her than the one which had the first consultation with us. So we went. The clinician was a little bit, you know, better, but the message was still the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go for the next cycle. The result was the same. And then I said to my wife, listen, if this is not working here and you are not trusting the clinician, it's not the way to go forward.
No.
Yeah. So I managed to find another clinic which was recommended to me by my friend. We went there, and it turned out that the co-owner of the clinic and the lead embryologist comes from the same place we come from, Slovakia.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had a very open discussion, and he said, okay, I definitely suggest to go for ICSI. Okay, come for the blood tests, and then we start. So yeah, go ahead. Question?
I was going to say, yeah, sorry, we've had some questions coming in, but I was going to say, did you sort of trust the medical advice about what procedure to have? Had you done your own reading, or were you relying on what the physicians were saying?
At that point, I was relying on what the physician said. You know, he was recommended to me by a mutual friend. Mm-hmm. And, you know, also I learned later on actually that my father was teaching him at the university. Also, there was also that kind of connection, which I fully trust the person.
Okay.
I'm saying at the moment because later on I did very, very extensive research by myself. But I'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
Well, so we started. Now, I was talking to the lead embryologist, co-owner of the clinic. Of course, the clinician was a doctor, lady, very empathetic, very professional, very calming, very knowledgeable. Yeah, that was completely different experience. She was explaining everything to us. My wife is, she works in the bank, so she wants to understand everything, and you know, she's capable of understanding it, so she wanted to understand. And the lady, the clinician, was willing and also capable to, you know, get the message across, which was important in building the trust. You know, there was a big difference between what my wife was experiencing at the previous clinic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that played a role. Yeah. So, one cycle failed, second cycle failed. So we had already 4. Normally it takes on average 3 cycles.
And you know, saying that is so easy to say, isn't it? But actually living through that is a huge ordeal. What did you feel during that journey and as time progressed and you were going into another cycle? What were the kind of emotions? How was your relationship? Where were you turning for support and for help?
Well, I made sure that I was all the time with my wife there. Yeah. So that she could feel my support. That was the first thing that I did. Second, I felt, I would say, hopeless to a certain extent because I couldn't help her.
Yeah.
So these were the feelings. Right? And I knew that and I was actually witnessing it, like when she was, you know, applying those injections. So I felt, you know, the physical pain and also emotional pain, right? Now, also what was happening during that time, I was working for IBM, that's a technology company, and I was responsible for AI at that time in IBM. And seeing those stimulation protocols printed on paper, I came up with an idea to put it on tablet or mobile phone to have it in digitalized somehow. So I made a nice presentation and I went to talk to the embryologist, to the lead embryologist. His name is Daniel.
Yeah.
And I explained to him, listen, can we maybe do it differently?
Yeah.
Being an IBM, so about the 30-40 minutes of my explanation to him, he said, Jan, very nice idea, but let me tell you, it's a big BS. He's very straightforward, right? He told me that stimulation protocol is very different in each clinic. However, there is one thing which unifies us all, and that's the embryo. Let's develop a system for automating embryo evaluation. So our journey is a little bit different from probably other couples because I started to develop, together with the lead embryologist of the clinic, system for evaluating embryos. So I became quite knowledgeable about how the embryos develop, what are the different stages, right? So I knew much more than probably normal couples would know about it, which helped me also to support my wife. So you're coming back to your question. Is it worth to go and read? Definitely, I think it is. You need to be, of course, careful what you read, but that's everybody knows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, because you and your wife have been through 12 rounds of IVF, isn't that right, to have your son? So, son, daughter?
Yeah, it's son. It's son. Oh, yeah.
And congratulations, by the way. I'm so very happy for you. And at what point in that journey did you start Leaf?
Well, I mean, mentally, I started Leaf when Oliver was born already, right? After when he was 1 year old. But we wanted to go through the second attempt, right? To get a second child.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work. It didn't work. And I found out that we fall into the category of women over 40 with poor ovarian reserve. And I was reading lots of materials on the internet, going through clinics, through scientific studies, and I found out that there are clinics that focus on these kinds of patients.
Okay.
And I came across a clinic in New York. I approached the medical director there.
Sorry, in New York?
In New York, yes.
Interesting, because I had treatment there, so that's interesting.
Really, really, yeah. So, yes, I actually shot a video for him.
Ah.
And we then had a video call, and I learned that he's getting 6 to 8 times higher success rate compared to ordinary clinics that are treating women without these diagnoses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I referred that information to our clinic. They asked me for the link to the studies. I provided the link. Still, it took about a year until the clinic, which I thank very much for Oliver, until they actually prescribed the treatment to my wife, right? And that was, I think, the turning point for me. I said, that's a pity that there are places and people that know how to treat different patients. Difficult patients.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge is there, but I understand that clinicians may not have enough time to go through all the novel approaches and also test them, read all the material, scientific papers. So I thought it should be available for everybody.
Yeah.
The knowledge should be otherwise. It's just it's a pity that the time is wasted, and we do not have the second child. So my Oliver is asking us, why don't I have a brother or a sister?
How old is he?
He's 6 now.
6. Okay. Was he conceived on your 12th cycle of IVF, or were there other cycles following his birth?
He was conceived on our 12th cycle. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so, sorry, please carry on.
Yeah. I just wanted to share maybe some interesting story about that last cycle, because that was to a certain extent different. Yeah. It's a little bit embarrassing, I have to admit, at a certain point, because we went for alternative approach. But I was reading on the internet that a lot of couples actually do things. So first of all, the 12 ovarian pickup was different. Normally, I was waiting about 10 minutes until she went out of the clinic. But that cycle, I was there already about half an hour, and she wasn't getting out. So I started to feel something's not right.
Okay.
It's not critical because there is no ambulance around here, but still something's not right. And then after about 45 minutes, the clinician came out and said, we have a bleeding.
Oh my gosh.
I want your wife to stay here until about 3 p.m. You go home and then come pick her up. Okay, we have to keep her here. Yeah.
Sorry, just for people who might be joining, at what stage was this in the process?
That was ovarian pickup. So
right.
After the stimulation, we had ovarian pickup, and there was the inner bleeding from the ovary. So that was a complication. We went through it, and about 2 days later, which was Friday morning, we were called by the lead embryologist. Jan, come and let's discuss the next steps. So we came, and since I was already knowledgeable about how the day to embryo should look like, I told him, listen, this is not well-developed embryo. So I think we should go for the next cycle. And he said, Jan, you know that I have one floor brush uneaten from the previous clinic. I said, what do you mean? Well, there was an embryo which looked like yours, and I said that I would eat that floor brush if there would be a live birth out of that embryo. And there was one.
Wow.
So Jan, let's not underestimate what we have here. It's day 2 embryo. I suggest the embryo transfer. Yeah, because the best environment for your embryo is your wife's womb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went for that, and I asked him, listen, what can we do to improve our chances? Because this is the 12th cycle already, and yeah. And he said, anything that would calm your wife, anything that would help her to feel relaxed. I said, okay, we tried acupuncture, which doesn't work. And then he said, yeah, you know what? I had some joint pain and I could not treat it. So I went to talk to an alternative, person, and go and talk to her because she helped me. And tell her that I recommended you. So while my wife went for the embryo transfer, I called the lady, and she said, okay, if you're calling from doctor, come and see me, but it's the different, I'm not in Prague, I'm outside of Prague. Okay, so Saturday we came there, and on the way there, my wife asked me, Jan, do you have cash to pay her? I said, no, I'll use ATM. He said, there is no ATM out there. My wife works for the bank because it's in the countryside. I said, no, don't worry, I found something. No, there is no ATM. She was very nervous, very, not.
Understandable.
Yeah. So we went there. While there, I had a discussion. I, of course, get the ATM. I got the cash. When I came back, they were still discussing. And at a certain point, my wife fell off the chair. Boom. I said to myself, oh, we had fresh embryo transplant just yesterday. Now she fell on the floor from the chair. Oh, not good. On the way back.
Was she very, very anxious?
Well, she was very anxious. At the same time, the week after, she called me on Friday again that she went for the blood test. And she said, they told me I'm pregnant. I said, well, that's amazing. And she said, I would never imagine I can get pregnant of this cycle. I had a very big argument at work that Friday. Then we had an argument with you on the way to see the lady. Then I fell off the chair. Then on the way back, we had again argument. So I felt there is nothing right with this cycle. My maybe wrong perception is that she just let it go. Yeah, I think that this happened. She just let it go. She didn't, that anxiety was not there because she said it cannot work. And it did at the end.
And was that different to the previous rounds?
That was because, as I said, she is very organized, process-oriented. If we do A, then B should follow, and then C should follow. If it's not that way, she feels not very comfortable, which I understand. Yeah. Everybody's different.
Of course.
Yeah, so I think this played a role in that 12th cycle. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's very moving and so happy for you. A lot to go through. Could you tell us a bit more about how LEAF supports people who are trying to conceive at different stages of their journey? What can people get from downloading the app for free, which, by the way, is linked up in our bio. Go check it out wherever you are in the world. And how does it support not just patients who are about to or undergoing fertility treatment, but also help clinics?
Well, so as I said, we want to make the knowledge and experiences of other clinicians and other patients, being it negative or positive, available for the entire IVF community, for the physicians, for the patients, right? So now how we want to do that? We collect patient data through the mobile application where any patient can fill in all the medical and personal information that she wants to, share. Also about her partner. We have, and I can say 226 data points about
Wow, that's amazing.
and 64 about a male.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Now, depending on the stage that the patient is at, she can get either the guidance, yeah, there's tips, or she can go through the treatment with the app. Yeah, she can choose what kind of treatment she's got, either IUI or IVF or XC, and then based on that treatment type, there are steps. She's got lots of information about each step. More importantly, she can also add all the data related to the cycle, medications in terms of stimulation protocol or other supplements that she is asked by the clinician to use. Then, when she goes through pickup, there is a place where she can also record the results of the ovary pickups. How many follicles were...
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear you a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
That's better. Thank you. Just so we want to hear this information.
Okay, so she can add all the medications that
yeah, that's amazing.
Right? And also, when she's go through the ovary pickup, she can also add number of follicles that have been collected, how many mature eggs were collected, and then when she goes through embryo transfer, she can also enter all the data that is related to embryo transfer, and then if there is a pregnancy or no pregnancy. So that is important. Data about her cycle are there securely stored for the next cycle, either on the same clinic or different clinic, right? So that's
obviously hoping there isn't going to be another cycle following that, but
yes,
good to have if you need to be going through it again.
Yeah, so that's first step. Now we are developing also algorithms which, based on the data that she shares, is suggesting the next cycle. Yeah. It serves as a decision supporting tool for physician, right? Because simultaneously with the mobile application, we also have a physician portal where the physician can see exactly the same data that the patient entered, right? And based on the data, physician will be getting recommendations. What would be the most appropriate approach and treatment protocol for that concrete lady? Because there is no average patient for that. Every woman is unique. Every cycle is unique. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we are collecting data not only for the sake of reporting, which is almost always the case, but we are collecting the data to improve the very next cycle. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the core of value for the physicians and the patients. We are now developing the algorithms.
Incredible.
And
people can get a fertility test, can't they, through it?
Well, yes, they can. Yeah, they can. Yes. Also, what is maybe interesting to mention that we are now starting the scientific study, prospective observational study, multicentric international, where we are recruiting patients, which will be sharing with us their data, and then we will be testing the algorithms that we have and fine-tuning and developing new ones. Yeah. So this is the scientific background that we are adding to LEAF.
Incredible.
Yeah. Also, what I want, yeah, go ahead. You want to?
I was just going to say, please, anyone watching or watching it back, head to our link in bio now, check out the Leaf app, download it for free, have a play around, put in your data, see how it can support you, because it really is astonishing. Something that I wish that I had 6 years ago when I was going through treatment. Is there anything else in terms of developments that you're working on that you want to share with people?
Well, yes. I didn't mention fully the data that we collect.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke about medical and personal data, which is normally collected and evaluated in IVF clinics.
Yeah.
On top of that, we also collect lifestyle data through wearables, Oura Ring, Apple Watch, Garmin Watch. Yeah, it could be, all kind, but there are 20 or 30 different wearables that can be attached to LEAF app. And once you allow for the data to be also seen by us, we are enriching your data set with your lifestyle data.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? That lifestyle is important. There are studies proving it. Some studies say it is not proved 100%. This is why we are running our own scientific study to see where are correlations and where are no correlations, right? So lifestyle data is another dimension which we add to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then there is the third dimension which we are adding, and that's the environment, where the patient lives. What is what is the temperature outside? What are the moon phases, right? Because again, there are scientific studies saying yes, there is environmental impact, and there are studies saying, well, there is not much of that impact. So we are also collecting these data and again correlating these data with the concrete patients. Yeah, and then the fourth dimension is genetic data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there are already some genetic mutations called polymorphisms, which, if known in advance, can shorten the time and decrease the physical and health risks. Yeah, so these are the four dimensions of data which we are collecting through the scientific study. Mm-hmm. So if anybody would be willing to join the study, please also let us know, and then we will all approach the clinic, which right. Okay, so, and because the clinics that we are working with are in the UK, in Spain, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. These are the 4 countries. And why are we doing this? Because the variability of patient characteristics is huge. So this is why we want to collect prospectively a huge amount of data so that we will be able to really find the most appropriate approach for it.
Absolutely amazing. You've done so much. It's so impressive. Anyone joining, please do check out our link in bio to find out about these advancements that LEAF is doing through the app and all of the kind of studies that you can be a part of to really help move things along and get you the kind of support that you need in your fertility journey and optimize success. It's amazing that you're empowering physicians and specialists as well as supporting patients. It's incredible. So please everyone go to our link in bio and check it out. And Jan, it's been such a pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you for sharing everything new about LEAF and also sharing your story with us.
Thank you very much. Thank everybody for thank you.
Love to see you. Speak to you soon. Thank you everyone for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.